All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining. This is our webinar 6 for the winter webinar series. So we're going to be doing troubleshooting your community initiative. And you have me, Afrin Gauss. I'm the youth coordinator. I have Uzair, who is my youth stakeholder. So if you have any questions during the webinar that you want him to know, just message him separately or just on the overall chat box, and he'll be recording it during the entire webinar. And at the end, the last 20 minutes, we'll do an open question period, and he will be asking me these questions and I'll be answering them. And then we also have Arlene from Halton Multicultural Council. So any students who are with HMC, please direct any questions that have to do with that portion of Gen Green to her. Arlene, if you could say hi really quickly. All right. I think she said hi on the chat box. So if you need her, just message her there. So before we start, just make sure you guys messaged your name, your grade, and your school. We are recording it so that we can give you volunteering hours at the end. So you got 1 hour per each webinar that you attend. So we start off with the land acknowledgement rights. So as a community, we have the responsibility to honor, care for, and respect all the creation gives to provide us with life. This includes the land, water, air, fire, animals, plants, and our ancestors. The Anishinaabe people have utilized this land for millennia, and we would like to acknowledge their direct descendants, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, as the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land upon which we live, work, and conduct ourselves. We acknowledge our treaty relationship and responsibilities to both the land and these original peoples. We also recognize that this land is rich in pre-contact history and customs, which includes the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee, and since European contact has and continues to become home for Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. It is in the spirit and intent of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement, whereby we will collectively care for and respect the land, water, animals, and each other in the interest of peace and friendship, and for the benefit of not only ourselves, but to our future descendants. All right, so thank you for coming to the webinar. So obviously, as you know, that the winter webinar series was designed as part of the Generation Green program to support you, the students, in your mission to reduce your greenhouse gases in your communities. So today, as I said, we'll be facing some of the common barriers that you guys were reporting from your feedback reports, and we will be going over some solutions to the problems. Then we're going to review your next steps, resources available, and to end the session, like I said in the beginning, we'll be having a Q&A period for any questions that you might have. So don't forget to ask your questions in the chat box, either to Uzair or on the everyone chat box, and we will answer them at the end. So as you know, we have 3 more webinars after this, 7, 8, 9. Highly recommend coming to the next webinar as well, because it's calculating and reporting your impact. So a lot of you guys are asking about the Wrapup event, and I think Alana has sent out an email about this as well. So the Wrapup event has been confirmed for March 20th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center in Oakville. So this is going to be a super great opportunity for you guys to share your projects with each other and see what other peers have accomplished as well. So each student or group is going to be required to present their projects in any way that you'd like, whether it's through a video, a PowerPoint, slideshow, poster board, website, song, like anything you want. We encourage you to be creative with your presentations, but also don't feel overwhelmed that you have to go big. We just want you to feel proud of your project and to display it to others. So if you attend, you can receive pizza, prizes, and awards at the event. Each student who successfully reduces their community greenhouse gas emissions will 100% be receiving volunteering hours, pizza at the end for lunch, a certificate of completion, and a chance to win prizes and awards. So a volunteer hour form was emailed out by Alana, I think a couple days ago. So make sure you fill that out and submit it at the end of your project to receive those hours. You'll be getting it from HMC/8CC. So here is your criteria. This is a really big one. So in order to be eligible to win prizes and awards, you students must meet all of the following criteria. So each person/project that meets the following criteria will be eligible to win an honorarium up to $300. Anyone who successfully completes a project that actually reduces your community greenhouse gas emissions, however small, don't be concerned as long as there's like a minute decrease, and you submit your final report by March 8th at 11:59. You'll be receiving a certificate of completion. If you want to be eligible for the honorarium and all the other awards and prizes, then we're asking you to write at least one article about Generation Green, or you can post maybe like 10 climate related posts on social media. Make sure you tag Gen Green and Halton Climate on Twitter, or the Halton Climate Collective on Instagram, and just actively follow, like, and share other climate change/Gen Green related social media posts. So for part C of this, you'll need to watch 4 of the webinars. So you have to register for future webinars or watch past webinars at climatecollective.ca/webinars. As you know, attendance is taken at the live webinars, so that's why I'm always telling you guys to make sure you're using the chat box to record your name and your school and your grade. If you've already attended like 4 other webinars, then you're fine. You're already one step done. But if you haven't, then you have to take a short quiz on the past webinars. So I'm just going to show you that really quickly. It's this form at the bottom here on section 3. So let me stop share, and I'm gonna show you this really quick, easy form that I have open on my laptop. Share. Okay, so this is the project proposal. Okay. Oh wait, where is it? Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Okay. So on our, ignore that. On our website, we have the past webinars posted. So once you've finished one of the webinars, like watching it, you just have to fill out this really quick form with your name, your email, your school, and your grade. And then you just select which webinar you watched, who are the speakers in the webinar. Hint, it's usually mostly me, but for one of them, there was Lisa. Another, there was Henry Greenberg, I believe. So just write those 2 names down and then just list 3 things that you learned from this webinar. So it's really straightforward. It's only going to take you a couple minutes, and it's going to ensure that not only do you get your certificate of completion, but you're also eligible for the awards and prizes at the Wrapup event. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. So the last requirement is to be actively involved in the final event on March 20th. If you're not able to attend, we obviously understand because it's March break, but you're still eligible to win as long as your project is represented at the event. So if you choose to present your project through a video or a slideshow, you can send me or Alana the file in advance and we'll play it at the event. So that way you're still eligible for anything to win for. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to have a pizza party, and there's going to be prizes and awards, and hopefully you guys can come. So if you have any questions about these requirements, just message the chat box and we'll answer it at the end. So now to our actual portion of our webinar. Over the past few weeks, we have been collecting student feedback from the post-webinar feedback surveys and the Generation Green feedback survey as well that was emailed out by Alana. So we've reviewed all of this feedback and kind of summarized it here for you, and I'm just going to walk you through it now. So, all right, you can see some of the common problems that students have reported here is not enough time. And we completely understand. But for high school students, now that exams are over and a new semester is starting, this is a perfect time to actually work on your project before you get too busy again with school. We do want to remind you that your projects don't need to be overly complicated or time consuming. It just has to be like it just has to be something that you can actually implement with your family or the community. So even if you have like a lot of time commitments, you might want to just consider simplifying it down. So a really good example is if you're trying to get your family to eat no meat for a whole week, but that's a bit too time consuming for you because of the extra groceries or whatever it is, just simplify it down to maybe one day. It's still making an impact and it's still worthy to submit it as a project proposal. So for people who have long-term projects, I know this was a big concern as well. It's no worries because you can calculate a projected emission to report at the wrap-up event. So in other words, you'll be estimating the amount of emissions that your project will reduce in the future and once it's implemented in your community. So the calculations will be the same, however, you'll be using estimated numbers instead. So if you need help with calculations, I suggest two things. Please attend the webinar that is 2 weeks from now, I think. We will be going over very specific examples, as well as please email Alana with any questions on how to do your calculations if you're struggling. Not only does she have a background in environmental science, but she's very intelligent and she can help you with all of that math stuff. So just email her. She's more than happy to help. So some of the other problems that students reported was actually troubles with data collections and calculations and getting people to participate. So here are some problems and solutions. So for tips on how to get people interested in participating, go check out the previous webinar, which was webinar number 5. We do have a PowerPoint presentation that's uploaded where there's several tips and tricks for keeping your community engaged. If you're posting on social media, make sure you use the hashtag GenGreen or tag us, which is Halton Climate on Twitter, or for Instagram, it's Halton Climate Collective, and we will, of course, repost to help you promote your initiatives if you need more people or more eyes on it. For help with data and collections, highly recommend to take a look at the calculation template that was actually emailed out by Alana. I know you've received a lot of emails from her, but every single email that you have received is super informative, so I highly recommend you read them over very carefully because this specific calculation template includes a detailed description of all the data that you'll need to collect for each type of project, whether it's transportation, waste, electricity, or food. But obviously, please keep in mind that this template might not be applicable to all the projects, especially ones that are a lot more complex. So we strongly encourage each and every one of you to set up an individual meeting with Alana to go over your project and calculations. Because like we said, we're here to help you with anything that you need, whether it's reaching out to your community or you're just having trouble actually implementing it in a said environment. So for any other issues that you run into and we didn't really cover here, either ask in the chat box or email me or Alana and we'll get back to you really quickly. So we also asked what other resources you think would be useful, and thankfully the good news is that we are able to help you with almost all of your requests. So some of the common resources that you asked include marketing and engagement tools, community contacts, networking, connections, mentors, feedback and advice. So one thing that both of us were kind of hoping to clarify was posters came up pretty often in the feedback. So if anyone is on right now that had written that in the feedback, would you be able to clarify what you meant? I'll leave a minute if you could maybe unmute yourself and talk, or if you could message it in the chat box, that would be really grateful for. If not, that's okay. I'll continue moving on, but if one of you did talk about posters, please let us know so we know how to actually help you with that aspect. Oop. So again, this was more feedback that you guys had given us. So it was a lot about credibility, funding, other information and resources. So as I mentioned, we can actually provide you with most of those resources or help point you in the right direction. So in order to get your community engaged, try using social media or sending emails to friends and family or posters. Maybe that's what you guys meant by posters because we mentioned it before. Um, if you need help actually creating those posters or promoting your social media account, let us know. We're always contactable through email and we're more than happy to promote through our own network as well. So don't forget to use that Gen Green hashtag or tagging us on Twitter or Instagram. But I have mentioned before, the best way to get people involved is through word of mouth, and having that personal connection with someone will encourage them to help you out and participate in your project. So I know one of the main concerns that some people were having was actually engaging your own family. So obviously you already have that personal connection, but there's something that's not allowing them to participate with you in maybe reducing your meal plans, because I think that was one of the main reasons why the family members weren't actually going through with it, and that's okay. So a big way to actually tackle that is to simplify it even more. If you said you want your family to go um, vegetarian for a whole week, maybe just try it for one meal, like one day, one meal, like dinner, and it's just purely vegetarian. And then you can slowly kind of accommodate that and say, okay, well, let's try 2 days, then three. But again, we don't want you to feel overwhelmed or cause fights with your family either, because I know if I told my family, hey, no meat, they'd be quite upset with me, which is fine. But so that's why I'm saying just try one meal and see how it goes. If you're still having a lot of trouble with a specific portion of it, like getting your family more engaged, I know I keep saying this, but please just email us because we won't know that you're struggling unless you tell us. So that would be an easier way for us to kind of make a connection with you and to kind of help you along. So moving on, many of you have also asked for community contacts and connections like networking opportunities or mentors. So that toolkit that we gave you for Generation Green, there is a lot of contact information from the Youth Unconference in November. So if you flip through it and you see someone who you think might have the knowledge or expertise to help you, like feel free to reach out to them. Introduce yourself as a Halton student who attended the event, explain your project, and just kindly ask them for support. Many of them were actually, in fact, super curious to know what you guys were doing. And I know that they're very nice people who would really love to help you. So don't be afraid to just send that email if you're kind of unsure how to kind of format that email. Just again, email me and Alana, and we can make it like formalized for you. And if there isn't really a suitable connection through the toolkit, again, I'm sorry, please just email me and Alana, because we have our own networks to help you connect with someone as well. We have a lot of different groups or schools or even mentors to kind of contact you with, and they'd be more than happy to help. You just have to let us know what kind of people or things you're looking for so we can actually provide that to you. So some of you have also asked for resources to add credibility to your projects. So whatever you need, we can help. So as a member of Halton Climate Collective Generation Green program, we can provide you with official name badges, letterheads, posters where you find it appropriate. Things like our Gen Green banner would attract a lot of attention because the same people would be using it. So we would understand if you would need that to use for your own community project. If you're also feeling like you're getting a pushback from the community because you're, in quotes, just a student, we can also write a letter or send an email to your school, the businesses you're working with, or your community group to verify that you are, in fact, a member of Generation Green. But, we just want to remind you, you're never too young to make a difference in your community, and we want to make sure you're able to succeed. So please email Alana if you're running specifically into credibility issues, and she'll just send an email on your behalf and hopefully get that ball rolling. Okay. So um, there was a lot of feedback, and one of them was funding. So yes, this is something that we did mention in the previous webinar. Having prizes often helps incentivize a program and will encourage your community to participate. But unfortunately, the HCC is unable to provide you with funding to actually help you. However, we can certainly help you find external funding. So to start, we suggest reaching out to small local companies. Larger companies often require approval from their corporate head office to provide sponsorships. So they're less likely to be able to help you, and it's also more time consuming as well to kind of go through that process. So with smaller companies, you're able to build a more personal relationship with them, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. We also suggest offering them free advertising through your project if possible. For example, if you have a social media account for your project, they may be more willing to sponsor you if you promote them through your page. So if you need help composing this like professional letter or email to send to organizations, let us know. We can definitely help you with that. For additional information, visit our website where you'll find the Gen Green Toolkit. Hold on, sorry. And oops. And here are all the websites that we like to include every single time. So feel free to click through those. I think they're very informative, and they have a lot of our workshop summaries, measuring and tracking your resources, the webinar schedule in case you have a specific one that you want to attend. And really, we're here for anything that you need. So there are our emails. We do recommend the individual meetings in your school because for the students that Alana has met, they found it very beneficial to kind of talk it out with someone on like our more like scheduling side of things. So please don't hesitate. We're here to help you, whether it's a phone call or during your lunch, after school, in the library or the coffee shop, anytime that's convenient for you. We will work around the schedules and make sure we get there. So next steps. If you haven't completed your project proposal, please complete it. I know a lot of you have already, but if you haven't, it's really quick and easy. If you've changed like your project idea too, just resubmit that form and email us letting us know, because we just want to ensure that you're on the right track and you have enough time to execute your plan. So once you have your plan and submitted the proposal, make sure you just check your emails. I know with your group, it's not like the biggest thing that you're checking, but Alana has been super dedicated to providing very detailed feedback to your projects. So please look out for any emails from her, and try to implement any advice that she might have given. And if you're unsure, just email her back and try to schedule some time to kind of go through her feedback to see how you can kind of improve your own project. So once you receive it, finalize your plan, and your next step is to put your plan into action. So please complete the project progress form at some point this week, before Sunday, which is February 9th. Just like the project proposal, it doesn't take any longer than 5 minutes. Again, it's just so that you're progressing well and not running into any issues. But make sure it's a little bit detailed so we understand what you're working on and what's left to do. So we also know if there's something that we can do to kind of ease the amount of workload that you have. So I'm just going to quickly show you the form, um, and I will show you that it's very quick, very easy, and no concern at all. So here we go. So this is the progress form. This is different than the project proposal, which was the one that I showed before. So it's just saying in 2 to 3 sentences, please describe your project and explain how it reduces your community greenhouse gas emissions. That was a question that was asked on the project proposal. So literally just say the same thing, like it's no big deal. And then which of the options below describes the current stage of a community initiative? Please be honest. If you haven't come up with ideas yet and you click the first option, that's completely fine. We want to know that so we know better to help you and kind of give you more ideas. And like you don't have to say, I've already implemented it and calculated. It's fine. Like if you're struggling a bit, we want to know so we can help you. So please describe the work that you've completed thus far for your community initiative. That could be doing research or maybe talking to your community groups about ideas you have. It could be that you've already calculated it or received funding for certain aspects of your project. Please be detailed, like let us know what you've done. If it's not a lot, again, it's okay, don't freak out. We just really want to know how we can help you. So the next question is describe what's left to be done. I think a lot of you, it's for the calculations portion, or it could be actually implementing the initiative, like with planting trees, you haven't done that. Well, that's okay. You can say, well, I'm doing that in 3 months from now. So it's anything that you have left to be done. What problems have you run into, if any? If you haven't run into any problems, that's okay. But if you have, we would really like to know so we can better plan for the future if we do this again. Were you able to resolve all these issues? If not, what are your barriers? Again, for us to understand. And what other resources would you find helpful in overcoming these barriers and completing your community initiative? So we are really thankful for all of the feedback you guys have given us, and hopefully we are accommodating any resources and barriers you've been experiencing quite well. If we haven't been, this is a perfect opportunity for you to tell us what you need from us. because again, we won't know unless you tell us. So hopefully that was quite simple and you'll be able to do it. If you're having troubles, again, email me and Alana. I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record. I will say that very often because we love to check our emails and see if it's from you guys. And then again, for the last is the final report. So this is when you've completed your entire project and it's due before March 8th. You'll be submitting your volunteering hours and you'll also be preparing your presentation. So you have to complete the first section of the form, which I'll show you in 1 minute. So for eligibility to win prizes and awards, you have to complete section 2, which will be evaluated by a third-party judge. So make sure you fill it out with like enough detail that they're able to understand what you did. And I'm going to show it to you right now. Just give me one moment. It's a lot of sharing and stop sharing and continuing again. All right. So this is the green final report. So I'm not in grade 12 and I used to go to Craig Kilgerber, but I was just filling it out to see what it was. But here are some questions. So please explain your project with enough detail so the reader can understand what you did and replicate it. So make sure you include who, what, when, where, why, and how. So please use full sentences, not dot jots, because you want to make sure that we can properly understand the process and like repeat it back to someone who wants to do the same thing. So any calculations that you have, make sure you use this title, the first name and last name, and upload it here. I'm just uploading it there so I can, do the next page. But make sure you also have an image of your handwritten calculations because we want to see how you actually got to your final number. And if it happens to be wrong, that's okay. The fact that you attempted, we just want to see that work. It's like a math test, but without the test part. We just want to see how you actually came to that number. And then you just have to put the total amount here. And if your project is ongoing, if so, what are the next steps? I'm going to show you just the next slide of it. So that's the first portion of it. For the second portion, it's for the award eligibility. So again, like I mentioned before, you have to kind of upload a screenshot of the social media posts that you've done, which was 10 in total we need from you, or the one article. If you're kind of unsure about the article, again, just email me and Alana and we can kind of guide you through it. And then the criterion 2 was to watch at least 4 webinars. So your attendance obviously is verified using the live webinars or the webinar quiz. So make sure you fill it out and you either attend the future ones or at least watch the other ones and make sure that the webinar quiz is filled out. And you just have to select yes, no if you are attending the final event on March 20th. If you're unable to, that's okay. You're still eligible. Like I said before, you just have to email us a representation of your project so that you're still eligible. Or if you don't want to be, you can just select the no as well. So again, if you have questions, let the chat box know and I will be reviewing it quite soon. We are almost done. Thank you for the patience because I know I keep flipping back and forth between the PowerPoint and the websites. All right. So these are like your super important dates. So like I said, project proposal, due ASAP, if not already done. The next webinar is on February 18th, so 2 weeks from now. It's calculating and reporting your impact. Highly, highly, highly recommend that you attend that because it is a big portion of the project to actually calculate your greenhouse gas reductions. So you can register at that link below. I think we'll be going over a lot of examples that will be very beneficial for you. And if you are at that calculating phase by the 18th and you're having problems, that's a great time to come for the Q&A period at the end so we can help you through it. So again, project progress form due on February 9th, and then the final report is due on March 8th. And then we have the very fun March 20th wrap-up event where you guys will be getting pizzas and awards, and you have to prepare your presentation. For those of you who are a bit shy and kind of feel daunted by presenting, don't think of it as like this huge thing that you have to do. You can do something like super small, like brochures or like a poster board, and you can just display that where it just explains like what you did and what was the impact and who was involved. Like it could be like a picture board as well, like where you have little, like, you know, in the TV shows and there's like a detective and he has all the wires everywhere. You could do it like that too. If you're not really a person who likes to talk too much about it, it's totally fine. It's whatever is in your comfort zone. And we just appreciate the fact that not only did you complete a project, but you also were willing to present to be eligible for the certificate of completion and different prizes and awards. And yeah, that's us, Alana, and me, Efrain. Please email us. We are here to help you, so please do it. If you have any questions, or just need help, or just need a chat, we're here too. Anything about the environment, we're here for you. So yay, thank you. Please remember those dates. If you're having trouble, again, email us. Uzair.
Yeah,
Hi. Do we have any questions?
yeah, we only have two questions.
Okay, great.
So the first question is by Anika and Maija. They ask, how many students will be around for the wrap-up event?
Good question. I don't know actually because we haven't had like a what is it, like a progress check to see if you're actually attending. That was the whole point of the final report where we're getting the proper numbers to see who's attending. If you remember, one of the questions was like, are you attending March 20th? Yes, no, or no, I won't be, but can you still do my presentation? So once we have that number count, then we'll know how many people are attending. It is over the March break, so we really don't know until you guys fill out that form for us.
So the second question is from CS. So he asks, is the webinar quiz for every webinar I watch live and recorded, or is it just for recorded webinars?
So if you attended the live webinar, you're good. As long as you had like on the chat box, you had messaged your name, your school, and your grade. But if you realized you hadn't done that, you do have to go watch the recording, and then the webinar quiz is just for the recording. So the live and the recording are two separate things. It's just if you have only watched 3 live webinars, then you have to watch 1 recording and do 1 webinar quiz. But if you've, haven't watched any of the webinars, then you have to do 4 webinar quizzes for the 4 recorded webinars.
So we have one final question from Claire. I'm working with someone else part of Gen Green. So if we want to be eligible for awards, do we both need to complete all of the requirements?
Oh, good question. So because you're working as a team, you can split up the requirements. Like with the 10 social media posts, like one person can do 5 and the other person can do 5. But then when you're submitting your final report, the last form that I showed you, you just have to write your partner and yours name, and then make sure you take screenshots of both of your requirements that both of you have done, and just make sure you upload it onto that final report form. And then whatever awards that are given out, it's given out to each project, not to a specific person. I hope that answered the question properly. Yeah, it's good. Does anyone have any questions for me now, considering we've gone through the whole webinar?
Yeah, I think we have because yeah, we've got a new question from Libby.
Okay. Could you read
So
it?
Libby says that if I or any of my partners are not really on social media at all, is there anything else we can do to meet that requirement?
Yeah. So yes, completely understand if you're not really on social media at all, because same. So that's why we also have the article that you can write about Jen Green. So you can either do the article or the 10 social media posts. So from the article, all we're kind of trying to get from you is like write about your experience. Like, what did you do? How did it feel being a part of this like climate action? If you can write that article, then you'll be eligible to win, and you'll be meeting that requirement easily. So if you are having trouble with that article, I know it's a bit broad, just message me or Alana and we can kind of help you with that.
So we've got another question from CS. So he's asking, my project is an Instagram challenge. Do my posts count for the 10 we have to do?
Yeah, I think so, because if you can you just tag Jen Green in it, like the hashtag. Do hashtags work on Instagram? They do, right? Yeah,
They
sorry.
do.
That was like really bad of me. Yeah. So just add in the hashtag for Jen Green, and then you've met that requirement. Absolutely.
So there's another question from Vesa. Where would we have to write the article?
So you just have to write the article, and I think it was on the final report form. Like it's just you have to upload it as an attachment. If the attachment's not working, then just email Alana and I and just say, we just completed the final report. Here's the article to go along with it.
And we've got one more question from uh, Ashwarya. If we are going to be doing our project with a lot of people, for example, my school's eco club, does everyone need to be attending the wrap-up event in March?
No, you don't all have to attend the wrap-up event. But it's fun if you want to bring them along. That's totally okay. But you just have to tell us like the people count. So no, they're not required to come. But if they want to, just let us know.
So we've got another question from CS. If I only watch part of a webinar, will it still count as one of the 4 webinars I'm required to watch?
Part of it. Um, do you mean like the live webinar, or do you mean a recording? Sorry,
I think it's about live.
the live. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. If you watched only a part of the live webinar, as long as you messaged on the chat box saying that you were there, it still accounts for the full webinar. Like I know you guys have really busy schedules, so we completely understand. As long as you were there for part of it, that's fine. And yeah, don't be sorry for the questions. That's what we're here for.
So we've got another question from Tanvi. Does the first ever webinar count?
First ever webinar account. Oh, do you mean the like before the Generation Green Youth on Conference?
I think it's the one when like all of the youth stakeholders and all of the members had to attend. We had it like way after 8 o'clock. It was like long, and we did the intro as well.
Yeah, that was before the Youth on Conference, right?
Yeah, I think she's asking about that one.
Le-
No, she's asking like I mean it's the first one after the Gen meeting.
uh, if there was attendance taken for that, then yes, it does count. But if it was one of like if it was one of those introduction, it was on December 3rd. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the Oh, yeah, sorry guys. If you have time, please do this post webinar feedback survey. Um I'll put it back up, but sorry, I got distracted with the questions. December 3rd. Yes, it does count. I'm sorry. Yeah, it counts. As long as you had just message saying that you were on that webinar, then yeah, it counts. Yeah, sorry. Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Arlene. Bye. Oh, was it not taken? Okay. Uh, really? So let me, Tanvi, I will get back to you on that because I'm pretty sure I still took a screenshot of all the participants that still came on December 3rd, even though I didn't explicitly ask people to say, write your name and grade and school. So I will get back to you about the next webinar, or maybe I'll email you individually to see if you attended. Actually, yeah, Tanvi, could you just message me separately your email, and I'll let you know if that's included in your webinars. Sorry. Does anyone else have questions? Okay.
We had 14 people in the meeting, but I only have attendance for 7 people, so we are
Oh,
missing 7 attendances. So
oh, really?
uh,
Okay. Does that include yourself or not include yourself?
not include myself, so 6 people are missing.
Okay. So for the 6 people who have not um, entered your name, could you please, 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 if you want your volunteering hours, message the chat box before you leave. Again, it is for volunteering hours, and if you want to be eligible for the awards and certificate and all of that fun stuff, um, it would be easier just to message your name for this one so you don't have to rewatch the recording and then do the quiz online as well. But if you're not actually part of Gen Green, that's also cool too, and you don't need the volunteering hours, that's fine. But yeah, this is just for our tracking purposes, so it'd be really great if you could message us. If you have time, please do the feedback survey. It's helpful for me and helpful for Alana because then we know what's going on and how we can help you better. But that is it for our webinar. I will be on until 7, so like another 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, you can either message the chat box or you can just ask me directly right now, like unmute yourself. But like I said, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully we see you 2 weeks from now. Good luck with your project. And again, if you need help, please email us. We're here for you. And we'd actually just love to help you. Like, we're super excited to see what you guys are thinking about and what you want to do with your communities. So yeah, thanks so much. You can log off at any time. If you have a question, again, please ask me right now, or email us. But thanks, guys.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm the only one who's going to be watching these webinars from like the group of people who are doing this project with me, does it still count for the awards?
It does. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. As long
Okay,
as
thank you.
we have your attendance, like you've been on like basically everyone. So yeah, don't worry. It's a group submission, not individual.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
No problem. If anyone else has questions, please, I'm here for you.
I was wondering, so I'm working with a partner. Would I be able to join by video call because I'm not here for the wrap-up event. I'm traveling for March break.
Oh, but you still want to do like a video conference for when they present?
Yeah, because I'm working with a partner as well, but I would like to help present.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can call in. I'll have to get back to you about like the Wi-Fi situation and stuff, but you might want to talk to your partner to see like maybe it could just be dependent on how you're presenting. Did you already know like how you wanted to present it? Like, is it through a poster or is it more like you're speaking about it?
We're not sure yet.
Okay. So maybe if you can figure it out before the 9th, I think we have a project proposal form due on the 9th. You can just inquire directly to Alana because she reads all of those over and say, this is kind of what we were thinking of doing. Like, how about would we go in making sure that you're included as well in presenting? Because we definitely can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions? All right, well, I'm here if you need me. But again, you're welcome to log off at any time.